Hey everyone, welcome to NewBZoo, where we are doing our best to make sense out of the chaos of real estate investing. This is a podcast for new investors and seasoned investors alike to gain some inspiration and some actionable strategies to help any investor in their real estate game. Welcome everybody. Brian Johnson here. Welcome to NewBZoo, the very first episode of the NewBZoo podcast. I am excited you're here and you've joined us to listen to this conversation I have with Andres Bastardo. He is a friend and a colleague in the Central Florida area. He has been in Sub2 for several years now and has seen a lot of its growth. And through that growth has seen a lot of pitfalls young investors go through or new investors go through getting started. I hope you gain a lot of inspiration. I hope you gain a lot of knowledge and direction in where you need to go next in your real estate game.
So when I first got started into the entrepreneurial world, I was looking for a second major. Economics was my major, entrepreneurship as a minor, and started kind of looking for something to do, right? And I was actually working at a restaurant. That's where I met my wife. It's my in-laws restaurant. I was talking to one of my buddies and he's like, "Man, I just got a drone. I heard you can make money with this." One of my buddies is taking pictures. So that's when drones were starting to become popular. And I got myself a drone, got the license, picked up a camera, started taking some pictures. So I started knocking on doors, right? Literally going to all the real estate offices and saying, "Hey, I just started this company. Can I come do some free shots for you?" They would just straight block me every time. And then finally, a friend of a friend, she's like, "Hey, like, you want to come shoot? I'll let you shoot one of my properties. Not really going to pay you much, but come have at it." So I did, and I started the content. And then I picked up driving Uber. But what I did is I carry an iPad with me next to me in my seat, and I had those pictures from that first shot that I did, and I just pass them back. And every ride would be do Uber full time, and I had my elevator pitch ready, and I would say, "Actually, well, I just started doing this," and I show them my portfolio. From there, I got some clients, started growing. I met a phenomenal realtor, and I started going down that Robert Kiyosaki. All those books. I found a couple podcasts, Wholesaling Inc. I started listening to all that, and I started getting the bug, right? And I said, "Man, this is definitely the way I want to go." And as I was seeing the real estate market, mind you, this is 2019 when I'm starting to get into real estate, and everything's hot, things are moving. That I just saw a future in that, and I teamed up with a realtor. I created a little team around me, a mastermind, if you will. It's super important to surround yourself with people that are better than you and that can help you in your journey. The key to my success. I was actually with that realtor just the other day showing one of her properties. She became a mentor to me. I started manifesting what I wanted in life and what I wanted to achieve and the goals that I wanted. Focus my energy on a specific amount of money that I needed to get started into real estate. I'm coming out of college. Yes, I have my parents, but I want to do everything myself. I didn't want to rely on anybody else. So I put that out there into the world, and to the T, the exact amount of money that I put out there, I got. Two investors came to me and they said, "Hey, I've got some money. I don't know what to do with it." They were foreign investors. They didn't even ask for a note. They didn't ask for a mortgage. They didn't ask for terms. They literally, quite literally, gave me over $100,000, and they said, "Go do something." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" When the money hit my account, right?
Right?
Coming out of college, the most money I've ever had in my account. Went out to that night, Texas to Brazil, and celebrated. And I'm like, "Wow, I'm getting started into something, and I'm building something here." Right. And along that path, I joined TTP. So I get into TTP, I start learning about wholesaling, et cetera, and about a little bit about systems. I start, pounding pavement, driving for dollars, making some calls, just locking myself in the room, following the metrics that Brent would set out. I finally came across a property, and it was from a wholesaler. This wholesaler was selling all of these. There was a big wholesaler, and it was like they were going faster than you could even drive up to the property, and they were already gone. So I got to one here in St. Pete. I foresaw the economic growth there as St. Pete has been developing. I said, "Shanna, am I good here? Am I going to be able to sell this property?" We were sitting outside, and it was sight unseen. not able to walk inside the property. She's like, man, it looks like it's a double lot. And I was like, yeah, what can I do with that? That doesn't mean anything to me. And she's like, all right, well, we need to get we need some contractors out here for you. We called 3 different contractors. We scheduled them back to back. And then I put in my earnest money. And as soon as I put in my earnest money, then they let me into the property, but it was non-refundable, right? 5K non-refundable. So I walk into the property and I'm only 5'6", 5'5", 5'6" on a good day. I could palm the ceiling, right?
Oh,
So I
wow.
got tall for the first time in my life, right? I felt really tall. I had palmed the ceiling, and it's a wood frame house. I'm like, what did I get into? There's bed bugs. I mean, this place I bit off way more than I could chew. But after talking to some of the contractors, running the contractors through there, getting some bids, reached out to on Craigslist. I started going like finding potential lenders on Craigslist, business owners, right? And I met this guy from a pawn shop, and he happened to be in the game. He's been renovating properties all his life in St. Pete. He knows like the back of his hand. He came
Wow.
out, met me. He sat down on the ground. This big, tall guy. He just sat down in the middle of the living room on the floor. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? So he's like, no, sit down with me. Get a feeling. Get a feeling for the. I'm like, this guy's kind of weird, but okay, all right, I'll buy it. Right?
Yeah.
And get a feeling for the house and get a vibe. Like, just be quiet, listen. Right? Do you hear a lot of traffic? Like, let's come back here at midnight. Come back at 7 in the morning. Come back here middle of the day. He gave me some really good tips. And the other thing,
Wow.
this biggest tip, he said, put a for sale sign out front tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I did, and I got one from Home Depot. I put it right in the front yard. I said, for sale by owner.
Absolutely.
He had closed on the property like a couple days later. Whatever. I got the property, and we start pulling stuff out of there. I'm like pulling out the couch, pulling out the bed. I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of bed bugs. Come to find out, you have to rent these heaters, space heaters, and you got to like, oh man, what did I get myself into
Yeah.
again?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was kind
Wow.
of like, God, but you know what? I'm gonna keep on going, right? God is with me. God is good, right?
There you go. Yeah.
And I get a phone call from a guy, and he's like, "Hey, I'm interested in the property. I want to stop by." He checked it out. Now I got the property for 119. I ended up
Okay.
selling it to him for 170. That's the opportunity of working with a realtor who had knowledge about the area, knew right with some contractors, getting some bids, getting some ideas, reaching out to lenders, really going out there, not being scared. I was scared, but I mean, I was going out there and doing it no matter what. There was nothing.
Absolutely.
I was going to do this come hell or high water. That was kind of the start of my journey. Got the property sold, reinvested the profits right back into the business, invested into sub two, and that's exactly when I came into sub two. I saw pace, got with pace, started going down that rabbit hole, and here we are today,
So when
owning.
did you start in sub two? What year?
Yeah, 2020, I started sub two. It's been amazing ever since, right? So when I jumped into sub two, there was maybe only 100 people in there. Now there's over 10,000 people. I've seen it scale and I've seen it grow through sub two. I've met amazing people. I've met you. I've met
Yeah.
my Jerry Simmons, who we partnered up really early on, and he's been a blessing. He's older than me. He's been in real estate for
Hmm.
longer. He's got tons of knowledge. I brought the energy from being a young guy, and we work really well together. And I've learned a lot, right? And even through the deals that we've done together, and
Right.
every single day, I'm learning something new. You never stop learning in this business.
Never. Never.
And you have success and you have failures and you have it's not always rainbows and butterflies, right? There's always a thunderstorm that comes
Absolutely.
right around the corner. So I've learned a lot, and I've hit my head, and I've been down and I've been up, and but I love it, and I love what I do because I'm making a difference in my community. Now I'm
Yeah.
making a difference around Florida because now we're investing across Florida, and now we're picking
Yep.
up in Texas, right? So
There you go.
growth. And
Nice.
yeah, and I'm happy to share that story, and however
Yeah. I know if you've been in since 2020, you've seen a lot of new people come through,
oh yeah,
right? A lot of new people come through. If there's 10,000 people in the whole community in Florida, there's a lot of people in Florida.
yeah,
Um, what would you say? What would you say some of the pitfalls are for the newbies coming in, for the new investors coming in once they pull the
sure.
trigger and start?
So everybody starts off with lots of excitement. there's lots of information. Even when I first got started, there was tons of information. And you want to be on every Zoom and you want to consume as much content as you possibly can, because you have this in your mind that I need to learn, I need to learn, I need to know everything that I need to know before I can take that first step. What I see happen often is paralysis by analysis,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
That's the biggest pitfall, is people feel that they need to know everything. And that goes back to my that story I was telling you about how I got started, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. Didn't know about comps. I had my realtor do it. I didn't really know about lending. I didn't know how to structure a note. I didn't know how to, talk to an investor. I didn't really know, how to deal with contractors. I was just faking it with the contractors, pretending I just didn't want them to take advantage of me, right? So I'd throw around some lingo that I heard on some of the YouTube videos or whatever else when they said something I didn't understand. That was, how I got started. One of the big important things is to stay focused. I was like, let me focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that was a big, huge part of my success.
Yeah.
A lot
Yeah.
of, a lot of students that start, they don't know where to go. They're going left, they're going right. And this is not just substitute students. This is anybody that's joining.
Anybody. Exactly. You got all these groups that are forming, and I'm hoping that this will get out to everybody, right? Yeah. And all these new people that want to come into investing and real estate investing, wholesaling, buy and hold, flipping, all of it, multifamily, STR, all of it, you name it. There's so many facets of real estate. What is your niche going to be? What are you going to focus on? But if you don't focus, you can easily get lost. You can easily fall off because
Absolutely.
you completely lose all momentum whatsoever if you're not focused.
You have to have real thick skin, especially.
Yeah, you do.
There's a great book that was recommended to me back when I was in TTP. It's called Rhinoceros Success. The whole rhino and having, the metaphor of the rhino and having real thick skin.
Yeah.
And missiles are going to come at you. Are they going to bounce off you, or what's going to happen, right? And it's very, very true in real estate.
Let me talk about thick skin real quick, because I just got a call today. I've started making phone calls again. This guy called me. Why are you calling me? And he started cussing me out, started yelling at me. And I said, I am so sorry, sir. Let me explain. I am so sorry that I bothered you. I'm so sorry that you are angry right now. But this is what I do. This is how I help. Oh, you don't help people. No, let me explain it. I've learned how to diffuse a situation. At the end of the conversation, we were buddy. We were buddies because it's like I diffused it. I had that thick skin. I didn't get personal. It wasn't anything personal against me.
As you're talking about that, it just, bring back flashback memories of when I was making a lot of those phone calls, especially in the beginning. You're getting beat up all day long. The people who you're generally calling are on lists, right? You're not the only person calling. You're lucky if you're the first person to call them. First person to call them about real estate. But if you're calling about real estate, they probably have creditors calling them. They probably sometimes have, all these people bothering them. They don't want to hear you. They're just stressed. And if you can just stick it out, calm them down a little bit, calm yourself down a little bit, and use some of the techniques of conversation, of bringing your, or just being more soothing, you can get around that. Don't be afraid, right? Just get through there. You're just on the other line. And you have to remember, they're going through something. It's not you that they're yelling at. They're yelling at the problem. They just don't see that you are the solution to that problem.
Yeah, and this guy it wasn't a deal for us. I was like, okay, listen, you are in good place. This is your house. And I kind of educated him, but he was very grateful for my conversation. I said, if you ever need anything, if you need a probate attorney, if you need anything like that, give me a call. But yeah, it's just, you've got to allow the people to be angry a little bit, but that's what new people come in. They're freaked out about that.
Absolutely.
And they're freaked out about getting in trouble. They're freaked out about getting yelled at. They're freaked out about all this stuff. I'm like, look, you're providing a service. You are ultimately providing a service, and you're ultimately helping people because you're providing this service for them that they can't really do themselves. If they can do it, then they're not your seller. Absolutely. If they can do it themselves, they're not your seller. But most people that we come in contact with can't do it themselves, and they need help. Even if you're talking them through it, that's help enough, And so I'm like, just calm down, breathe, and get through the conversation.
Starting off, you don't need to know everything, like I was saying, right? So if you're on the phone call with them and you don't really know the solution, right? The point is to have a candid conversation. And we were talking about this early this morning on a mindset Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's about connecting with them, almost sharing love with them and making them feel comfortable, because people will do business with who they like. Just get them to like you a little bit and trust you just a little bit. And even if you don't know, say, you can even use that, right? That's actually what I used to
Mm-hmm.
tell my VAs is like, listen, I'm brand new into this business. I just started working with this company. I know that they can help you because everything that you've told me, I've heard them take care of for other people, and I've seen them work miracles.
Yeah,
Let me get you on the phone. Let me
that's
get you
good.
on the phone, Brian, and he's going to take care of you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good.
I will see it to it, that he does.
Mm-hmm.
I'm new to this company, but I know one thing. I know that the product that I sell is something I can get behind. And this company that I'm with, they are freaking awesome, right?
Well, and then you bring it into this, like, and you're talking about VAs, but let's talk about new people. I think you've just hit something, nailed it on the head. One of my questions is for a newbie coming in, how are they going to get to their first deal? What's the best success? And we kind of had it in our newbie Zoom today,
Yeah,
where what did we say? Join a team,
that's right.
get involved with a team, get involved with somebody, and then you can actually do that where, listen, I'm new, but I know that my team, my people that have hired me on or that brought me on to work with them can work wonders for you if you are able to, or if you want it. If say you can work it out and you can diffuse that situation easier that way, especially if you're in a team. Also
Absolutely.
in the team, you can play a hand, say, listen, I'm sorry that I upset you. And they're like, click, hung up. Somebody else can call and say, here we go.
Yep.
You've got a team.
Absolutely.
You can always play that hand as well. What's another thing? One last thing that you would say for a new person coming in that they need?
There is no other answer than having a team, in my opinion, if you're just getting started,
I
right?
love that.
You can't do this alone. I could tell you, hey, that there's a magic list that you can go call, and it's going to be, like I said, rainbows and butterflies, but there's not. And I could tell you that there's this particular niche that's amazing. And I could say, oh, short-term rentals, midterm rentals, wraps, whatever. That none of that matters. You're gonna have problems no matter which way you go. The thing is, if you can have a good support system around you, that is the key. That's my
Yeah.
key to success. Build relationships, because that's what's gonna get you to that next step, right? So be
Yes.
focused, know what you want to go, which aisle you want to go down, and then build a team that's gonna support you to get there. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
talking necessarily about a VA. A VA, yeah, that's great. That's something, but I think comes a little later. You don't need to do that right in the beginning. What you need to get yourself in, when I say team, is a team of mentors around you, people who
Right.
know a little bit more than you do, that they're one
Yeah.
step ahead of you, that can
Yep.
help break that barrier into the next step.
So how can a new person join your team or JV with you? Give us
Sure.
some of
So,
your feedback on that.
absolutely. But the best way to get into that is going to my website. It's JV with Andres, Andres. So I was jvwithandres.com, where you can fill out it's a short form. Tell me about the property, what's going on, what is a pain, what is the motivation, right? Tell me a little bit about the property, and then me or one of my team will get on the phone with you within 24 hours, discuss a deal, let you know what's good about the deal, what's bad about the deal, what more information we need to get, and how can we make this into a deal. Or, hey, this is not a deal. It's never going to be a deal. Stop wasting your
Mm-hmm.
time on this one. Let's go find the next one,
Yeah.
because that's another little tip. I'll leave that as the last little tip.
Oh yeah.
Already getting their wheels started. That's starting. Something that I see a lot of people get is that they get so excited because they've got their first hot lead, or they think it's a hot lead, right? But
Mm-hmm.
um, there's a saying, I believe it's a Ron LeGrand saying, that my business partner actually told me, and he says, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit, right? And it's so true. It's
That's
a
a good one.
silly saying, but you can't. I mean, you can look at it from different angles. Maybe you can make it work, but if you can't, don't waste your time. Keep the connection. Maybe later on you can do something, but for
Yeah.
now, move on to the next deal.
Wisdom from very smart man in real estate. So if you want to join in with Andres, this is how you do it. So I appreciate you coming on and taking the time, and hopefully we'll have you on another time. Something will happen, and I want you to come back and do another interview, or tell me something good that's happened. We may do a best deal type thing. So
absolutely, we can dive a deep dive into one of the deals here
oh
soon.
yeah, that'd be fun. That'd
Got
be
a lot
fun.
of them. Got a lot of
All
them.
right, buddy. Well, I
All right, brother.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Take it easy. Again for joining us today. You don't want to miss next week's episode with Andy Rong. Andy Rong is 18 years old. He is killing it in the market. He has just joined forces with Jamil Danji. Crazy. This is crazy. This conversation will blow your mind. And this kid, who is well beyond his years, will blow your mind. So do not miss out next week. If you would like to come on NewBZoo podcast, please click the link below. There's a web form you can fill out. I would love to have a conversation with you, with anybody here that's listening, with anybody that knows anything about real estate investing, that has been doing it for a while. I've got people that are on my list that I want to make sure I have a conversation with. But if you have a great win, if you have great ideas for new investors to do better, then I would love to have a conversation with you. So click the link below, fill out the web form, let me know personally that you would like to join in and have a conversation with me. That would be an amazing thing.